We're at the Coldwater Trout Farm. This is an area where there's been a lot of Bigfoot sightings in the past. Some of the people that have had sightings around here and have heard vocalizations coming out of the canyon think the Bigfoot are coming down out of Coldwater Canyon at night, so we're going to go up and look around for Bigfoot-style evidence. Greetings, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. We're up above North Ogden Trout Farm. There's been a history of Bigfoot sightings at that trout farm at night and in the neighborhood around that farm. People that live in the area have stated that this canyon where the water comes from, this is Coldwater Canyon, and this is where the trout farm gets its water. People claim that they've heard what they think are Bigfoot vocalizations that come out of this canyon at night. So a lot of the sightings down there, people believe that perhaps the Bigfoot's coming off the Wasatch Mountains out of this canyon. Makes perfect sense. A lot of people that hike back in here say that this little canyon's like the Pacific Northwest, so we're coming in, taking a look around. It's actually different times of the year. It's a pretty popular hiking trail. I don't think Bigfoot read the rule book that it can't use a canyon that people hike in during the day. So we're coming back in here, taking a look around.
Hey, look up there, there's snow.
Where?
Right up there. We're almost up to the snow line.
Oh yeah, there's a skiff of snow up there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people up here this time of year. It's about 50 degrees, so.
And at nighttime, very rarely are you going to find anybody hiking this trail at night. Not saying that people won't, but the number drops. But the Bigfoot isn't going to be using the hiking trail.
No.
The Bigfoot,
They're going to be over there.
They're going to be traversing wherever the heck they want. They're built, just like bears and elk and other animals, they're built to go right up and down this stuff like it's nothing. It's their home terrain. It's like a shark in water.
We wouldn't be able to walk along here unless this trail was here. Look how steep it is.
Yeah, and it's really thick vegetation too. I mean,
yeah.
this oak brush and some of the maple brush is just thick up here. Well, there's a cave across over there.
Yeah,
you know,
right
not saying that Bigfoot lives in a cave.
Mountain lions do.
I'm thinking in the wintertime a Bigfoot may use something like that, you know. So, you know, look at that cave. I mean, it's nowhere close to any trails or anything. You know, would a Bigfoot be using something like that that is being seen down at the trout farm? Yeah, in the 80s, the Bigfoot come down to the trout farm a couple of times and took trout out. And they even have a cast of it going in and out of one of the pools that contain the trout. Very interesting. Water source right below is an ample food source. And if you've ever been to the trout farm, I think even a person would be able to get in one of those pools and maybe scoop a trout out with their hands.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
Right, well, we're gonna take a look around and see if we can find anything Bigfooty. I keep noticing all these caves back here. I feel like the creature can probably just bed down under a tree if it wants to. You know, there's a lot of people that believe a Bigfoot would use caves, but you know, in icy, cold, wintry conditions, I mean, why not a cave? So I'd like to zoom in on some of these caves that we're finding back here. We know for a fact that mountain lions and bears use caves. Why not Squatch? This is a beautiful canyon. It's just crazy beautiful back here. So the Trout Farm's just right on the foothills at the base of this mountain down there in the city. And back in the 80s, when there was a lot of sightings down there around the Trout Farm, there was a lot less people living down there. It was more farm fields, natural growth. But now there's subdivisions and stuff down in there. But people still see Bigfoot along here once in a while. Those 3 kids and the adult playing soft guns last spring up here, up close to here, saw that Bigfoot. And then people claim that they hear the vocalizations that they say sound like Bigfoot coming out of here. And you know, a lot of the really good Bigfoot vocalizations are all over TV, so a lot of people have heard what may be Bigfoot. So when people hear similar vocalizations, you know, they're like, is that Bigfoot vocalizing, echoing out of the canyon? So we're up here to take a look around, and this looks really squatchy. I don't know about you viewers at home, but you know, the places that people see Bigfoot looks a lot like what we're in an alpine area. And right in front of me is oak brush. Oak drops acorns, so in the fall there is all kinds of acorn food here, and in the creek below, fish. Just smells so good in here. Jenny and I have been commenting about how good it smells and how many different species of pine are back here too. There's been a lot of bear sightings this year up here, so we've been watching for sign of bear along with Bigfoot and mountain lion. But it's amazing how a lot of places with bear sightings also have Bigfoot. I'm thinking it's because they eat the same thing. Omnivores. Just wanted to show you guys a couple of snap-offs right here. You know, I'm not saying this is Bigfoot, however, after watching 2-3 mile trackways of Bigfoot, you see that Bigfoot likes to snap stuff off at every opportunity. We're in a Bigfoot sighting area. People hear vocalizations coming out of here. So, you know, maybe these large, taller saplings is territorial markers. Bigfoot showing how tall by the height and how strong it is by the thickness. You know, these are 3 and 4 inch diameter saplings. This is just a beautiful area back in here. Now, just a little while ago, Jenny and I heard a rock come tumbling down. You know, maybe it was natural, maybe it wasn't. We didn't see what did it, but we heard a rock come down. This section kind of reminds me of Sasquatch Canyon, where you have springs that feed a creek, and then eventually this creek actually goes underground for several hundred yards and then resurfaces down there a little way. But of course, during the runoff, most of it stays on the surface the whole time, I'm sure, of course, because you can tell. But it's amazing when you come into an area, you got to come in and look around when people are seeing Bigfoot in areas, and then you start to realize how some of the areas are similar, and then you start to realize that Bigfoot and certain animals in the area, they like certain conditions. And one of those conditions we're starting to find out is, of course, a reliable water source in the area, which this one has a year-round reliable water source. Seems really squatchy. We haven't even dented the surface of this canyon. This canyon goes back in really deep. A lot deeper than they have hiking trails. And right now I'm off the hiking trail looking around, and I see what appears to possibly be a structure back in there. I'm gonna hike back in there and take a look. See what you guys think. See what I think. This possible structure that I found, it just looks impossible. I'm here after the foliage is fallen off of everything. It's winter time, or close to winter. But if I was here in the spring or the middle of the summer, this just seems impossible to get through without a machete. Okay, I got closer to this. Looked like it possibly could be a structure. This is not one that would make it on our GPS map overlay. I like the ones where it's obvious that a lot of deadfall of logs have been gathered up and shoved up into a host tree. This right here could very well be a tree that naturally fell over to make this structure. So, you know, I'm gonna film it. We don't know, we didn't see how it was made, but it's not gonna make it on my GPS map. It's just not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, it is obvious to anyone that things have been relocated and a structure has been made, you know, and unless you see what's made it, you don't know if it was people or a Bigfoot. But this very well could be natural, or a Bigfoot could have possibly done this. I don't know. Not good enough. But up above, I see what looks like it could be a ground nest. I'm gonna get on the other side of this structure and see if I can take pictures and film what may be a ground nest over there. This is real interesting to me because it looks like one of those ground nests that the gorilla would make. It doesn't look that comfortable, but for a primate, it would keep you up off of the wet or snowy ground. See all these sticks gathered together to make a type of nest. I'm not saying Bigfoot did this or any type of animal, but if you want to sleep in the rain or wait out a rainstorm, you got the protection of all these trees above you to shade you from the rain, and then you're staying up off the ground. It doesn't look that comfortable, but it may be a lot nicer than staying on the wet, muddy ground, and it's close to what looked like it could possibly be a structure over there. And look, there's some snap-offs that could have been possibly snapped to help make this little ground nest thing that's going on. And of course, this could all very well be a natural phenomenon. Normally I wouldn't pay something like this any attention, but because of the Bigfoot sightings at the mouth of this canyon and the vocalizations that people claim to hear out of here. Now, I'm on the side of the mountain with all the growth. That other side, it may look barren to you guys at first, you know, a couple of juniper or cedar trees, but the whole mountainside is oak brush. And oak brush in the fall produces acorns, which is a favorite food source of bear, of deer, of elk. Wild pigs just love it. So why wouldn't a Bigfoot? You got a food source going into the winter time here. It's fun to get back in these places and see what's going on. You know, I'm not ditzing on anybody that sits in their studio apartment giving sighting reports with a photo or a video of a waterfall or something, but I love to get back into the places and look around where people are actually seeing Bigfoot, to give those Bigfoot sighting reports and show you guys what's going on in those locations. This is what Coldwater Canyon of Utah looks like. Here's another potential structure. Of course it could be natural, but I'm in a Bigfoot area, so I'm going to take a look at it. And I'm walking underneath it just to give you guys a sense of how big it is. Where the top of the structure meets right there is about 8-9 feet up. I'm not saying Bigfoot made that. And this is also one that's not going to make it onto my GPS map study. It's just I mean, if that was a tree that fell over, it had to fall over uphill and fall perfectly in the crook of that tree. It's probably natural. But for shits and giggles, I'll film it for you. Beautiful, beautiful place. All right, I'm working my way back out of the canyon a different way than I came in. I'm off trail just so I can see what's going on, look for possible footprints, possible structures, anything that, quote, researchers would consider Bigfooty. As we leave this Bigfoot expedition out of Coldwater Canyon, we're going to take another look at the trout farm below. Perhaps the Bigfoot stands up here, maps out his travels down to get a scoop of fish. Who knows? Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.